When you used to think of Britney Spears, it was probably, oops, I did it again, or low-rise jeans and crop tops, or maybe that familiar girlish voice. But recently, we've learned more about Britney's reality, being captive to what she calls an abusive conservatorship for more than a decade. We're talking about that and how fame can distort our view of a fellow human in today's TNT Chat. All right, T. Britney wants to live on her own terms. To do that, she had to give one more brutal performance, and that was speaking to a judge in open court for the first time about her case. This Britney was not one we recognize. She was a traumatized woman who says she's been denied the right to have more children, was put on lithium against her wishes, and wants to sue her own family for doing this to her. It's chilling, it's harrowing, and I'm embarrassed that I was not tuned in to what was going on with this woman. She's basically in captivity in front of all of us, doing performances in Vegas and a residency, and meanwhile, she's not allowed to reproduce. She's not allowed to hang out with her boyfriend. Like, I am horrified that I sort of sat back and watched this happening. And to be totally honest, I haven't been as involved in pop culture as a lot of other people are, but still, I had heard little bits and pieces of it, and I never just really jumped in. What do you think, T?
Wow, Tracy, like I've heard about this, and they had the movie, and so like I had an idea that there was a whole Free Britney movement, that this has been going on for years, and at one point she said she didn't want to do her Vegas show anymore, and she kind of protested and didn't do it, but then ended up doing it. So we kind of knew that this was going on, but did we know to this degree? Absolutely not. Like when she started to say the details, the fact that she compared herself to a sex worker, like that she has no choice in anything, the fact that she's financing everybody and financing these tour buses and everything, that's my issue with it. I understand, like anybody who has mental health in their mental health issues in their family, and they understand that there are times that you have to have somebody you have to make choices for somebody because they're not mentally there to do it. But in her situation, it just doesn't fly, because how is she mentally stable enough to support all these people and do a tour and be lucid enough to be able to go out there and dance every night, and to be she said she choreographed some of the stuff and taught her dancers, and this woman is supporting millions of dollars, giving millions of dollars and supporting all these people, yet she's not mentally stable enough. It's not adding up to me.
Yeah,
what do you think?
The math isn't mathing. So I saw a really interesting take on this by Feminist Tabulous. Her name is Liz Plank. I follow her on Instagram, and she says, "Want to free Britney? Welcome to the disability rights revolution. So glad you're here." And what she does is she brings light to the fact that, as you mentioned, T, there are people that are struggling with mental health issues, but there are also people that are part of the disability communities that have no rights. There are people in their family that can come into their lives and they can make decisions for them, and the law will support them, and the legal system will support them, and they will have no agency. Even when they're feeling better and capable and able to deal with themselves and negotiate for themselves and move around for themselves, they cannot get their agency back. This is a very widely publicized big problem that is happening on so many different levels that we haven't been paying attention to. So the disability rights movement is really trying to get people to look inside of what we've all been thinking when it comes to the folks who have agency and the folks that don't in society. And I think it's very interesting that there are people right now with disabilities that have been sterilized, or have been told they cannot reproduce, or have been told that their income is not going to go to them. Their income is going to go to the people around them. This is brutal. And it's an interesting time right now, and I don't know if it's because we have more time at home because of the lockdown and the pandemic, but a lot of blights are coming to surface right now. There's a lot of conversations about switching things around in our institutions and our systems, and this is just one of those examples, T.
I think it's really sad.
It's so sad, and it's so sad how we sort of sit back and watch these situations happening, and we don't necessarily, we don't have the perspective we should have. You know, we saw it with R. Kelly and having all of these sex slaves. We saw Whitney Houston go all the way down. Like, and you know, there's nothing we can do, but we can say something wrong is happening right now, and this needs to change. And if we've learned anything, we've learned that we do have a voice, and that voice, even if it's on social media, it actually does have people speaking about topics that they maybe wouldn't have been speaking about in the past. So yes, free Britney. We will be watching this. I will be tuned in now, as I was not before, because the whole thing is incredibly sad. T, thank you so much. Thanks for your input. I love chatting with you.